I had to come and record outside today because it feels so amazing outside. Like, just being able to breathe in the fresh air feels so good. And sit outside and record, I gotta do this more often. What was that, squirrel? It's literally a squirrel. Y'all, I am getting freaked out by these squirrels. And y'all are gonna see later in the video why, but I don't know what's going on. So if you hear me say that I got attacked by a squirrel, it's these damn squirrels in the back. But I digress. Them damn squirrels. What's good in the YouTube hood? It's your girl Luna Nova, and I am back with another video for you guys today. You guys were enjoying some of the spooky people, places, and things that we were going over, so I decided that we should talk about glitches in the Matrix. If you have seen the infamous 1999 film of The Matrix, then you definitely know where that reference comes from. Sometimes certain people, places, and things do unexplained things that we cannot really put two and two together other than to call it a glitch in the Matrix, because this is one big ass simulation, if you ask me. And the avatars that we occupy in this lifetime are just what we use to navigate through it. So again, if you couldn't tell, we are going to be getting into glitches in the Matrix and unexplained phenomenons. So you guys remember when I told you that I would eventually get around to telling you all about the time that I got stuck in a portal? Well, today's that day. So when I was a child, I want to say I was about 6 or 7 years old. So this was the early 2000s, and I was visiting my abuela's house. Now, my abuela had this big house in Galesburg, Georgia, and I used to absolutely love going there, but I don't know what it was about her bathroom, but I didn't like going in there, and it was for a very specific reason. The two mirrors that faced each other used to freak me the fuck out. So one day, while I was going to look for my abuela, I thought I heard her call my name from her bathroom. So I walked into her bathroom to go look for her. And of course, everybody knows when two mirrors are facing each other, it creates a portal. And somehow, some way, I believe I got stuck in something called the back rooms. The first video that we're going to go over is going to be an example of a girl who, in my opinion anyway, got lost in the back rooms as well. She was innocently recording her interaction in front of the two mirrors to show the freaky images that it shows, again, when you place two mirrors facing each other. And somehow she wound up going directly through the portal. And what happens after that, we still don't know. It is said to this day that this woman is still missing. No one has heard from her. So if you know who this is, please leave it down in the comments, because I would love to do more research and actually figure out where baby girl went. And not only where did she go, but what did she see after that camera cuts off?
It's said that this girl went missing back in 2001 after recording this video where she placed two mirrors together and something really strange happened.
Something really strange going on here, and if something ends up happening to me, I just hope that this video can maybe explain it. Okay, so I have these two mirrors in my room. As you can see, they're pretty normal looking mirrors, but I was cleaning and I had them kind of set up like this, and I noticed something really weird. Just watch. See, when you look through the mirror into the other one, it becomes like a window.
I don't know if people know this or not, but facing two mirrors together is something you just shouldn't do, and it's said to open portals or bring in really bad energies or spirits. Sometimes good, but usually bad.
And there's this huge warehouse, grocery store or something down there. But wait, it gets even crazier. Watch this. Out for the moment of truth. 3, 2, 1. Whoa.
People believe that she entered the back rooms and she's an SPC now.
What the hell? What is this place? Hello? How far does it go? Oh shit.
Now that I think about it, because I had to go back and watch the video 3 times to make sure that my 4 eyes were seeing what I saw, it appears that the camera came back. She did not come back. So again, where the hell did she go? I don't know about you guys, but that was some weird shit. There is no reason why anybody should ever do this. I'm just going to make that abundantly clear. Do not do this. Now, of course, my interaction with going through a portal and winding up in the back rooms, I did not have a camera. I was only 6. So I wasn't able to record my interaction so I could have video proof to show you guys. But this girl did. And the fact that she somehow, some way went through the portal, winded up in the back rooms, and then eventually somehow winded right back up in her room after tripping, it doesn't make sense. If you know anything about going through portals or adventuring into the back rooms, leave it down in the comments, because this is something that I'm definitely curious about and want to be able to make a part 2 so we can make sense of this, because we're gonna have to figure this one out together. Again, you see what happens with her interaction. Me, I went through the portal, I freaked out and ran into what I believe was a wall and passed out. And when I woke back up, I was in what we perceive to be our reality. So make sure that you never ever, say it with me guys, never ever face 2 mirrors towards each other unless you want to get stuck in a portal. 0 out of 10. Do not recommend. Especially not for the newbies that are new to this, okay? Just don't do it. Some of y'all still gonna do it. Seeing someone that you met in elementary school later on in life, if you lived in the same town that you went to school in, would be something that would be normal. But seeing someone that you went to elementary school with, moving states, moving jobs, even going to different countries, guess you heard me, countries with an S, going to different places around the world and seeing this same person would absolutely terrify the hell out of me, because how and why are you following me? Well, that's exactly what the next poster is going to talk about. She is going to talk about how she had we're going to say this for lack of a better term, a spiritual stalker follow her throughout her life multiple times. I'm not talking once, twice. I'm not talking 3, 4 times. I'm talking a unrealistic, a ridiculous amount of times throughout her life. Now, of course, some people would chalk this up to just coincidence, but again, I don't believe in coincidences, and it's happening too many times, and again, stretching across too many places for it to be a coincidence to me. Now, I would like somebody to explain exactly how this happens, because it can't be a full body apparition, because this spiritual stalker is interacting with other people, married to other people, knows other people that know the poster. It doesn't make sense. It literally does not make sense, and I cannot wrap my mind around it.
Okay, I have to talk fast because I have to fit this all into one video, and this is going to be weird. It's been 37 years in the making, and I need to know what it means, okay? For 37 years, there has been a person who has existed on the periphery of my life. I don't know if he's a non-playable character. I don't know what he is, but this is the story of me and this boy. We'll call him Steve. I start preschool when I'm 3 years old. I go to preschool. There's this boy in my class named Steve. We go to preschool together. In kindergarten, we go to kindergarten together. Okay, it's not that weird. There's multiple kindergartens in this in the city that we lived in. It wasn't that strange, right, to end up at the same kindergarten. We're in the same class in kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade. But something happens in 2nd grade. Okay, in 2nd grade, my family moved from New York to Michigan. We moved away. I was a new kid in 2nd grade. I start my new class. A couple months later, in my new 2nd grade class in a new state, my teacher says, "Hey kids, we're getting a new kid." Guess who the kid is? Guess who it is? It's Steve. Steve comes walking in. I'm like, weird, Steve. Did your family move here too? He's like, yep, sure did. Weird. So in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade, we're in the same class. In 5th grade, my parents switched houses in the same town that we lived in, but it was a big city, so we had to switch schools again. Thanks for that, Mom and Dad. So I'm a new kid, right, in 5th grade, starting on the first day, and my teacher's like, hey, there's another kid who also went to your old school. He's in the other class. Guess who it is? It's Steve. It's Steve again. Switched schools with me again. In 7th grade, after we had been to the same middle school together as well, we moved back to New York, to a different town than we originally lived in, okay? And I start there, and we moved in the middle of the year. Again, thanks, Mom and Dad. And so it's like November, I moved there. In May of that year, our teacher's like, hey, we have a new kid shadowing. He's also from Michigan, where you just came from. Guess who it is? It's freaking Steve. It's Steve again. His family also moved back to New York, to the same weird random town that we lived in. Okay, now's where the weird coincidences come. We go off to college. In 2004, I'm studying abroad my junior year in Madrid. It was 2004, so the Yankees and the Red Sox World Series thing was happening. There was a sports bar in Madrid that aired all of the games for Americans. I had my bucket of Corona in front of me because, of course, Americans. And in walks Steve to this bar. Steve came into this bar to also watch the Yankees and the Red Sox. He wasn't studying abroad in Madrid. He was studying abroad in London, right? Weird. He ended up at the same bar. We can explain that away. Again, Steve and I, not friends, not enemies. We just coexist. In December of that same year, my friends and I who were studying in Madrid decided to go to Prague to see it. To see Prague at Christmas time. We're supposed to go on a pub crawl. We missed that pub crawl. We decide to go on our own pub crawl. We end up in a random Irish pub in the middle of Prague. Who's there? Who's there sitting at a table? Steve. Steve's sitting at a table. He also went to Prague at Christmas time, and we happen to be at the same bar at the same time. Now, this morning I'm in the copy room at work. I have a coworker who's talking about her fiance. I'm not friends with this girl. I barely know this girl. She mentions, oh, my fiance's Steve. And I go, excuse me, what's your fiance's last name? I felt like Brad Pitt with the box. What's in the box? What's in the box? What's his last name? Guess who it is? Guess who it is? It's Steve. It's the same Steve. What does it mean? What is?
We're just going to have to go with NPC because what other explanation makes logical sense here? Even then, an NPC still doesn't make sense because they don't interact with you this much. They're not around that much. I'm not understanding. Who is Steve? Matter of fact, where is Steve's fiance? Because I need more. I need more. It's not making sense at all. Now, one of the most common glitches in the Matrix is going to be something that I call the multiplying act. And that is when you will lose an object, misplace something, maybe for sure have thrown it away or again lost it, and it reappears 1, 2, sometimes 3 times over. For example, I have a lighter and it's a very distinct lighter. It's got my zodiac on it. I typically take this everywhere, either in my pocket or in my purse. That is just like me losing this lighter, later finding it in a pair of jeans. But then when I go and look in my purse, I have 2 of the same exact lighter. How? This again is so common that, in my opinion, all of these people cannot be making these stories up about finding lighters, finding phone cases, having acrylic nails and having all 10 nails, and then all of a sudden they find identical acrylic nail that's broken off. And it's not like it's, oh, well, they get that color all the time, so maybe it's another broken. No, it does not make sense how these things are happening. And again, I don't think all of these people are lying, but what do you guys think?
I'm at work right now, but I just had my first glitch in the Matrix experience, question mark. You know, all those stories where people are like, I broke a cup, but I found the exact same cup in my cabinet later, or I'm wearing a necklace that I hadn't bought until a few months later, stuff like that. So my hair was super frizzy today, and so I put it up in this clip, right? White marble clip, I think from like Dollar Tree. But then I was at the orthodontist today, looking at my Invisalign or something, and it hurt when my head was against the chair, so I took the clip out and I put it in my pocket. So then I'm out of the orthodontist and I'm walking to my car, and I pull my keys out of my pocket, but something crashes to the ground at the same time, and so I look down and it's the clip. The clip fell out of my pocket as I pulled my keys out and landed on the ground in front of me. So I pick the clip up and I'm like, okay, whatever, and I put my hair back up really, really quick, and I get in my car and I drive off to wherever, my work. So now I'm parked outside my work, my hair is up, I turn my car off, and I put my keys in my pocket, but I feel something else in my pocket. Clip was in my pocket, but it was in my hair at the same time, and I only have one of them. I'm sure someone that works at Dollar Tree is gonna tell me they like came in a 2-pack or something, so I definitely had to. And sure, but then why did it fall out of my pocket? How did I put it in my hair? And then how did another one end up in my pocket is the question.
Guys, I'm kind of freaking out right now because I've tried to film this. This is my 4th time filming this video. I tried to film it on TikTok 3 times, and now I'm in my camera filming it because every single time that I film it, it just closes. Not the app, but like I'll press check and then it'll just delete the whole video. Or it'll only get to the point when I start explaining my story, and as soon as I start explaining it, then it like just deletes the recording. So you know the Mandela effect thing, okay? So the girl that had the fucking antique, and then she moved, and then she found another one, and she only bought one, but they had the exact same markings, and she was like, how the hell did I get two of these? There were only one. So I'm going to get in bed. I see on my bed my AirPods. I see them there, and I'm like, I'm coming for you later. Okay? Put the kiddo to sleep. She is out. She's out. I'm like, it's mommy's time to waste away her sleep schedule on TikTok. I get my AirPods, pop them open, put the right one in, okay? Right one's in. Right one's not connecting. So I'm like, I'm irresponsible, I didn't charge them. That's on me. Let me put the left one in. It's probably charged. Put the left one in, go to put the right one back in. There is a right AirPod in the right slot, but I have one in my hand, and I know I failed math, but I only have 2 of these, okay? So why do I have 3 of these? So I start freaking out. I'm like, it's fucking happening. It's happening to me right now. So I freak out. So I get up. I turn my flashlight on. I'm poor. I found these, okay? I found them. I could not return them could not return them to the owner. Found them. I can't afford 2. I didn't have another one laying around. So I'm like, I know what you're thinking. They're your friends, okay? I don't have a whole lot of friends, but I've only had 2 friends over to my house in the past month. So I call them. I'm like, hey girl, are these yours? She's like, no. Hey, just tell me that they're yours so I know I'm not going crazy, please. Sorry, boo, they're not mine. So then I'm like, well, let me see whose they are. Because, you know, you open them, they have a name. I named mine Steve, because I name all my shit Steve. These are named Steve.
So I've just had a glitch in the matrix. I see people talk about this on TikTok all the time. I've never experienced it, but I need to show you guys. So I was just putting something away on the tabletop and I saw this and I thought, oh no, have I broken my phone case? Like, and I'll show you my phone case in a minute. So I picked it up. This is my phone case, guys. So where has this acrylic butterfly wing part come from? This is my only case. Is that not the weirdest thing ever? Like, I don't understand. What is happening? I know it seems really minor, but it's really, really weird. It's freaked me out.
Now let's talk unexplained phenomenons. A lot of things that happen in this universe, we just can't quite explain it, but we know that they happen. One kind of unexplained phenomenon that I have definitely experienced myself in the same city, coincidentally enough, as the next poster. And that phenomenon would be called card shuffling. Now, I'm not sure if this person coined this term or not, or heard it from someone else, but we're gonna go ahead and go with this since it seems to be a common term used to describe this phenomenon. Now, of course, the few people that I've heard explain their stories about this have had different experiences. Sometimes it could be something as simple as walking into a store and almost time traveling to a different era, seeing people dressed in clothes that are not of this time, speaking in a tone and language that would not be of this century. And then when they walk out of the store, they're back in our reality.
Oh my God, what is that?
I've been wanting to talk about this for a while and really tell this story because I talked about the phenomenon, but I never told my personal stories. Because like I said, I had this happen to me twice and I was on like the tail end of it happening to like a third person. Like I'm a part of their story, but I wasn't caught in this weird, freaky warp of whatever. I have no explanation for what this even is, but the original creator called it card shuffling. So basically places around 3 a.m. in New Orleans, and some people in my comments said that this has happened in other states across the South where it's like things are just shuffled around. Certain things disappear, places. You could be in a bar or something and then you find out that that place has never existed. You can't find it anywhere. And a lot of people are drawn to New Orleans for these paranormal experiences and specifically the French Quarter. However, surprisingly, that was not my intention. I was just trying to be young and turn with my homegirl, and we ended up caught in this weird warp of space and time, and I'm not really sure how to explain this. And I tell the full story on the long form content place if you want to see that one, but I'm going to keep it short here. Mind you, neither one of us are drinking because she's driving. When we get there, we park the car, and this was the first time I'd ever seen this feature on the phone where you can set where you parked your car so you can find it again. Because I started to walk away, and she's like, hold on, like, let me set it. So I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Like, she explained it to me. I'm like, that's really dope. And I was like, well, I would have noticed where we were because the building was really specific and there was a cowboy. I'm going to show what the cowboy is. I'm from the country. We're both from the country. So I'm used to seeing this in people's yards. It's not really common to have this like cutout display in like the city and in New Orleans, but I'm familiar with it. So I'm like, oh, I would have noticed this distinct building and the cowboy. I don't know if I can insert a picture. Okay, so this is what I mean by the cowboy. This is just like a yard display, and it was propped up against this building. Now, this is just something insignificant that I thought it was just insignificant that I just mentioned. We go, we have a good time. Eventually, my feet start hurting. I'm like, all right, let's go. I want to get in the bed. I want to eat. Like, I just want to go. So the car should not have been far. We start walking, and she's like, for some reason, like it's not even popping up. It's like I didn't even set it. So I'm like, that's really weird. But I remember the street name. I remember the distinct buildings. I remember things. So I'm like, we're going to find it. Like, don't even trip. So we start walking. Lord, we walked around for hours, looking for the street, looking for the car. The maps aren't making sense. My phone's not making sense. Her phone's not making sense. We're walking around for hours looking for this car. In this one neighborhood, it made no sense. So we've been walking for a while. We're both aggravated, both confused. Like, and mind you, stone cold sober. Stone cold sober. None of this is making sense. So we see the cowboy and the building at the exact same time. I go to say something. Lord. And it's like we had been faked out so many times. I kind of didn't want to say something, and like we still weren't in the right place. Like it made no sense. But Lord, so I see the cowboys like across the street. So I'm like, I know that the car is this way on this street. So I'm like, all right, cool. And I'm about to say something, and I don't know if she gasped or what, but we look up. And we see the cowboy that's still there in the same spot that it had been. He gets up, just the shadow, gets up and starts walking across the street to where we are. So when she kind of like, I felt like she was going to say something, I just grabbed her hand and I'm like, it's okay. So I'm just like rubbing her hand. And if like women, we know, even if it's terrifying, somebody has to step up and be like the brave one. So I was being the brave one because I didn't want her to start like freaking out. So I'm holding her hand and I'm just like rubbing her hand. I'm like, it's okay. It's okay. Everything's all right. I'm like, just cross the street with me. So I hold her hand and I take her and she's like stiff. So he's crossing the street this way. We cross the street that way. As soon as we just kept walking, I'm just like, it's okay. Like, she starts to say something to me. I'm like, don't say anything. And I'm just like rubbing her hand. I'm like, we're good. Like everything's good. So we go like a little bit away. When we make it to the little building, I turn, bam, the car's right there. We must have approached this little area from every which direction for hours. Never came across the car, never came across the cowboy. I didn't watch it. After he like crossed, I kept my head straight. I'm just like holding her hand. I'm talking to her. I didn't watch it. I don't know. And it wasn't until I told this story, like I uploaded it yesterday on the long form content place. It wasn't until I told that story that I made the connection that possibly us crossing it might have been how we got out of that weird little loop. But it's been years and I hadn't made that connection until yesterday. So I don't really know. And again, this has happened to me again and to somebody else. And then when they kind of like came out of it, I was like at the end of that. But I don't have enough time for those stories.
Now, one thing I can honestly say I am very guilty of and that I have made a conscious decision to start being better at is paying attention to the sky. we tend to only worry about our world down here on land, that we tend to miss a lot of things up in the sky. If you are one of my OG subscribers that came over from TikTok with me, y'all remember that crazy thing that I saw in the sky, that the only way I can explain it is that there were just what seemed to be a cluster of almost 100, maybe even 200 shooting stars happening all at one time. Like, when I say it was the most beautiful, most strangest thing that I had ever seen at night in person, I was blown away. I couldn't get my phone out fast enough to record it. And even when I did, y'all know how it is when you try to sit up there and record something at night. For example, when you take pictures of the moon, it never turns out as crystal clear as your own eyes looking at it. It was so beautiful, but I don't understand what I was looking at, but it was amazing. So like I said, after having that experience, and I want to say that was about 2 years ago, I have made a conscious decision to pay attention to the sky more often. And I have honestly noticed a lot of weird things. Me personally, I have noticed that I have seen birds that should be flapping their wings in the air. I mean, mid-air, not moving at all. A literal glitch. They're just stuck and not moving. And it takes a few seconds, almost like it realizes that I see it doing what it's doing, and then it's like, oh shit, let me start flapping my wings again. Freaky. There's no other way for me to explain what you're about to see next, except for the fact that there was a glitch in the firmament. I don't know any other way to explain it. Leave it down in the comments if you can.
Look at this. Get out of the way. Look at this. Somebody please explain. Camera. That is some kind of an artificial background, an artificial sky, yellow. Looks like wires, maybe? Yeah, that's trippy. That's trippy. Hold up. Hold up, let me get another angle. Gotta see this. Look at this. Look at this. Somebody help me understand that. Somebody help me understand what the heck that is. Look at no, that's the sky's tripping. Big time. Big time, baby. Big time. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Get out of the way. Look at this.
Now y'all are about to see why I was flipping out about them damn squirrels. These squirrels is up to something. These squirrels know something. I know y'all saw that episode of Rick and Morty.
We'll have to re-destabilize their economy, refocus labor class outrage from upper to middle, foster a coup, and install a compliant regime.
Same as Guatemala?
Yes, but you can double time it.
We need a quorum to pick a new pope in case the Exxon Monsanto thing falls through in Africa.
Why not use chemtrails? Put a canopy on Uganda. They're set to agitate any What?
That kid is watching us.
So? We're squirrels. He's a kid.
He's watching us like he hears what we're saying. Hey, kid. Young man. Come here, little boy. Tell Daphne to run a 199 on a possible Doolittle. Little boy, we'll give you wishes if you can hear us. We can make you fly.
And this next particular agent literally popped out of nowhere, out of thin fucking air. I mean, there's no hole in the ground. There's no logical explanation as to how the hell this squirrel literally just came up out of the cement. Like, how? How, Sway?
I'm witnessing a glitch in the fucking Matrix, and I swear to God, if this squirrel doesn't come back out, I'm gonna have a panic attack, because if you see his nose, I'm not going crazy. Oh my God, wait, stop it. There's nothing there. There's not a grate there. There's not a fucking grate there. Where did this bitch just come from? What the fuck? He just came out of nothing! Don't run to—
Now, I know in this video we are talking about unexplained phenomenons, but this next one I can possibly explain for you all. Now, most people who are educated on spirits or actually work with spirits know that lights tend to flicker and certain things will happen physically when you come in contact with the spirit or interact with something that that spirit once had a connection with. And it seems like this particular spirit in this next clip had some type of attachment, some type of sentimental value attached to that guitar. that the poster is in possession of now. Now, I'm not sure about you guys, but you can leave it down in the comments. I think that this spirit is upset with this person for not only owning this particular guitar, but trying to play it, because he's flipping shit up left and right. I'm just gonna say he, for lack of a better term. Spirit, okay, don't be upset with me, don't come after me. But you causing a ruckus over there. What you doing? Flick the lights once if you want me to leave it alone. Flick it twice if I can keep it, because I don't want these problems.
Is there any weird, unexplainable stuff in my house? But I bought a guitar the other week at a garage sale from this old lady down the street, and every time I pick it up or strum it or play it, really weird shit happens, and I'll show you. It's some Lotus, like, very 80s looking guitar, and every time I strum, like that, shit like that happens every time I mess with this thing. Like that.
The universe is full of unexplained phenomenons and entities that we as little human beings may just never understand. And to an extent, I'm fine with most of that. But some things, I just gotta know. But we're gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. Listen to these last 10 stories that are going to be read off by Bizamania on TikTok. And as always, make sure that you drink your water, mind your business, stay prayed up and protected. Watch out for them squirrels. And Luna loves you.
My daughter pulled a book out of the bookcase, and my current driver's license fell out. She brought it to me, asking if I had been looking for it. I pulled out my wallet. The same license was there. At about 11:20 p.m. on the 18th, and I was about to go to bed, but I decided to pet my cat once more. And when I looked back at the clock, it said it was 4 a.m. I checked my phone, and it was 4 a.m. on the 20th. My dad was visiting my house one day, and he lives about 20 minutes away. He drove back to his house in his car. 2 days later, he lost his car keys, and I found them in my driveway under my car. It had rained since his visit, and I have left multiple times. And no, he doesn't have a push-to-start car. My family and I took a long road trip to Tennessee. I wore my favorite jean jacket. I took it off in the car halfway down our trip, and then we get to the hotel. I put my jacket on a chair next to the door. A couple days later, I went to wear it. It was gone. I was so upset. After a week, we went home. My jacket was on my bed. How? I wore it to Tennessee. When I was a kid, I had this little lemon strawberry shortcake themed figure. I remember purposely setting it on top of my dresser to display. I constantly looked over at it while playing too. Then poof, gone. Couldn't find it anywhere in my room. Days later, it showed back up on the dresser where I left it. Absolutely freaked me out. Once I was making some chocolate milk, and I had put the cap of the milk down and put the jug down next to it, turned around to grab the chocolate syrup, turned back, the cap was gone. I looked everywhere, on the floor, on both tables, and then I turned around to face the jug again, and the cap fell on my head. Still freaks me out to this day, and no one was in the kitchen with me. My mom had gotten this purple blanket for Christmas one year. It was the kind of material that would stick to your skin if it was dry. She told me one day to bring it upstairs into my closet. I did. Later that day, she told me to put it in my closet again. I told her I did. She then pointed at it saying, "It's right here." I took it to my closet and went to put it away. I was gonna put it where I thought I had put the first one, but it was already there. We now have two of the same blanket, and no one knows where the other one came from. Glitch or ghost? I had a childhood toy that I took everywhere with me. It slept on my bed with me at night. One morning, I woke up and it was missing. My whole family gutted my room looking for it. Nowhere to be seen. I was heartbroken. I had this toy since I was a baby. Months later, it was sitting alone on my windowsill. Randomly reappeared one day. My whole family still doesn't understand. When I was 7, the town I lived in had a crossroad. My sister was on the sidewalk and I ran into the middle of the road, and an unseen force pulled me 10 feet back to the curb. While the car was mere inches from killing me, my sister went white and said, "You could even see my clothes being pulled by something." And at number 10, my ID, passport, and keys were in a bag that were stolen from an IKEA parking lot. Car was broken into. I filed a report. This was in April. Fast forward to literally 2 weeks ago, my ID and keys were in a bag I haven't used in over a year. Passport still gone. Now I have 2 IDs and 2 sets of keys. I've seen a lot of skeptics in my comment section, so please explain these to me. How does the cap of a milk carton fall on someone's head while no one else is home and they're just standing there minding their own business? How does a jean jacket get lost while on vacation just for it to end up on the person's bed when they get home? Also, the one where the person went into the road and then was pulled 10 feet back, that was 100% divine intervention. You were not allowed to die that day.